for YouTube and all are on those cameras. So have fun. We are live from the convention floor at the NRB 2025. And for those of you who've joined me on these before, we know we got a whole day of just, man, how does God just bring it for this year in so many different ways, so many different people that He's given opportunities. And we are here with Lindsay Swindle. She is with MetaShare. And so, Lindsay, for those of our listeners that don't know, what is MetaShare? So that means that your job, right, is to connect MetaShare with companies. So I'm so thankful for you. Obviously, you have people that set up this interview and they wanted you to let our listeners know about that. What were they hoping that you would be able to share with them?
Yeah, but it's I just got new business cards. But anyway, everybody. Share and how far out
Wow, and so you actually give the elected officials a chance to put a face with prayer.
I don't know. If and you are. Okay. So
So I co-host a show called The Encouraging. And last week's episode, we talked about the inheritance of prayer. Like, as you're praying for those members of your family, and those prayers, they stay there at the front. And so it's kind of cool to think about as you're leading this inheritance for our whole country, right? Because it's generations and generations of elected officials that come out of this group and this generation. And so as you have that connection, I'm sure that all our listeners are thinking, well, what's new for 2025? Because you certainly see a big change in who are the elected officials.
Let me give you this. But we'll see you at 11 on Thursday. Thank you.
So how did you land this particular?
These stations.
I mean, how did God call you to it?
And this will go out. And then Utah and
Wait.
And so I'm sure, when you first started it with MetaShare and you're thinking, God, is this where you have for me? Is there a story? We're like, okay, this must be what you have. Is there a story behind it? Now tell us, can you give us the actual? You can change the names to protect the innocent, but here you're talking to this elected official, and all of a sudden, he becomes transparent with you, and you realize, oh wow.
Yes, so Washington just recently shared
Right. And so, for those who may not be familiar, MetaShare is sort of a group health plan where, like you said, the members, help carry the cost for lots of folks. But what you said in the middle of that I picked up on that I'm sure a lot of people wonder about. You said you let our chaplains know. What does that mean? You got an insurance company that has chaplains. What's up with that?
Right here in the office, but I can talk to one of you.
Right, and that's part of what God has moved. And here's this opportunity, right, for people to share healthcare, but more importantly, share care. Period. We got these opportunities to pray for elected officials, and so in the current climate that you guys are in, and the big changing of the guard, how do you see that from your perspective?
Trusting God, and also, I believe into having to, even though we're not standing in the trial, this is a part trial.
That's wonderful. Lindsay's mentioned, right? Thank you for being on here today. Project Keep. I love it. Thank you so much. Yeah. You're good. You did great. Thank you. God bless. If you got a card or something, I just want to
Hey, Robbie.
Hello.
Hey, I got Eric Hogue with CCU here. I have Eric Hogue here with CCU.
All right.
Sit beside me. We have a chair with a...
If you got a card, Eric,
Yep, I'll give you a card.
Who's next?
Robbie.
Annie?
is he next?
It was supposed to be Annie.
Oh, I'm not next. I get out of the hot seat. Sure.
But there was supposed to be an Annie McHugh.
There's a Maddie right here. Maddie?
How you doing?
There.
I'm Eric.
Eric,
Nice
I'm
to meet
looking
you.
forward to talking to you.
That's great.
Tomorrow.
You know, Stu used to intern with me.
Oh, really?
I worked at Salem years ago. And so Stu, obviously senior, is a good friend.
Robbie, president of Colorado
I
Christian.
don't.
His campus pastor, I mentor.
Oh, wow.
Faust. And he's one of the guys I sent a text message to this morning.
All right. Well, here, should I go with him or what?
He's technically tomorrow, but my next one hasn't come, so you can go ahead.
Sounds good.
Go ahead. Roll with it, Robbie.
Roll with it.
Go
We're
with
going.
Okay, you want to pull the chair over? You good? Okay. It'll only be 20 minutes or so.
He was supposed to be tomorrow. My next one.
And your last name is pronounced Hope?
Hogue. Just in your head, do H-O-G-E. Hogue.
And then I guess I got a portion that I am.
All right. Make sure I give you a good sound here. I don't want to mess you up.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, here we go.
Oh, you sound.
Yeah, I know. I got the face variety too.
Well, we barely got
There you go. The old mix.
All right. Well, I'm ready to
You take me and we'll go.
Well, we are always having so much fun here at the NRB, and it is 2025. I can't believe we're letting much fly by. And, you know, one after the other, truth talk, right? And it's an opportunity for the truth to come through in so many different ways. And we're so blessed to have with us Eric Hogue from Colorado Christian University. And what Eric doesn't know is my whole family's from Colorado. So
That's great. That is great.
I went to junior high school in Longmont,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah.
And, I went to elementary school, actually not too far from Columbine. It was Peabody Elementary.
I know exactly where it's at. I know exactly where it's at. Drive past it every day.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful. Well, it's great to be with you.
Yes, it is great to have you. And so, tell us about Colorado Christian University.
Well, Colorado Christian University likes to live by its middle name. Christian, conservative, about 112 years old, 50 undergraduate degrees, 72 degrees online. We call it our College of Adult and Graduate Studies, CCU Online. We also work with about 212 K-12 classic, charter, private high schools across the country for dual credit and associate degrees. So all told, 15,000 students. 15,000 students at CCU. They're in the backyard of Longmont, where you grew up. And thriving and growing. We strive to be, you know, people say all the time, what's the goal of Christ-centered higher education? I say it's being compelling and distinct. you need to be compelling. So be compelling in a market where everything is apologizing for faith or unapologetic. We're uncompromising and we're distinct. We use words like evangelical, Christian worldview, conservative ideology. We got strategic priorities. We have amazing faculty with amazing programs, and we graduate leaders. So that's Colorado Christian University.
And so, Eric, how did you get this?
Long trail. We just came from, I don't know if you heard Chuck Swindoll's message on the tapestry of God, right? So I worked in radio for a number of years, maybe 30, 32. Started when I was 16, ended up with Salem in a long trail. Worked at Salem Cluster in Cleveland, then in Sacramento. Did some syndicated work for SRN, filled in for Bill Bennett, Laura Ingram, Hugh Hewitt, Dennis Traeger, still praying for him, Michael Medved. And did that for a number of years in Sacramento. And held that cluster down for, I think, 14 years. But I grew frustrated because nothing changed. In California, it's a little bit different than the rest of the country. So there was no impact, no change. You could talk about things every day. Everybody would call and say, well, I agree, amen. But it would still, continue to slide down the cesspool of ignorance and incompetence. So I left and went to William Jessup University. Decided I'd go back to a place where we could create graduates who would lead and not be led by this culture. We need leaders. And so went to Jessup, worked there for 6 years as a vice president, left Jessup. Senator Bill Armstrong was the president at CCU, and when Dr. Sweeting stepped in, he hired me away, and I've been there for 7 years, 2 years as the president of Colorado Christian University. There you go, in about 30 seconds, radio synopsis.
But you got to the heart of it, which is, God gave you, where's the fruit?
Yep. You're a car guy, right? So if I were to ask you, you don't have to answer, but what's your favorite car? What's the best performing car that you would pick? You might say
A Corvette.
A Corvette. Why not? I would agree with you. So Corvette, that's Chevy, the best performing car. We need Christian education that is identified as the best performing, right, most respected, uncompromising, unapologetic, Christ-centered, conservative, rigorous academics producing leaders. And so, Truth Talk Live, we need to have students that are in a university environment with a Christian worldview where lies are not truthed about and truth is not lied about. So teach the truth, teach the liberal arts, and watch what God will do.
So you have no idea that truth. I was listening, going, oh wow, look. I don't know if you know this, but there are certain cars called halo cars.
Yeah.
And the Corvette is a halo car. Because the idea of a halo car is it's going to bring value to the whole brand. In other words, they make no money on making Corvettes. They really don't. It's a losing proposition to sell as few of those cars as they do. But what Corvette brings to the whole Chevrolet image is what the deal is. But it's kind of cool that God allows us to love one another, that people will see the good works and glorify Him in heaven, right? Each of us in our own way are sort of like the Corvette of the brand, right? And so there you are at Colorado University, right? With that being, what an opportunity we have. And I bet you are seeing what I'm seeing. So I'm so excited about this Gen Z, whatever you want to call the next group of young people coming up. They are hungry. They are thirsty. They really want holiness. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, 100%. I was just telling your colleague here at the radio station that we had an overnight prayer vigil at our concert center on the campus of Colorado Christian University.
Overnight
Yeah,
prayer.
six-
You guys were praying all night.
All night, prayer and worship, student-led. One of our world changers, a junior, came to my office and said, "Could we put this on? Would you mind, President Wilson, 6 p.m. until 6 p.m. the next day." 625 students. What the students want is they want no-nonsense truth. Right? Educate, press me. They give me a rigorous academic journey you're paying high tuition. You want to obtain something so that it impacts your life. You want to be academically prepared. You want to be a graduate that is well equipped in your expertise. At the same time, you want to drill down in your faith. You're facing a culture that because you come from a Christian university, you're already going to be perceived as a jaundiced applicant. So prove them wrong, right? Be excellent, be great, be a leader, work at it, find your failure point, build upon it. And if we can focus on the liberal arts and solid academics without compromising the gospel of Jesus Christ and doing it in a real way, that is your halo effect of Christ-centered higher education. There may be few that survive the next 10 or 15 years, but the few that do will be strong and prepared to face the next generation.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it's so beautiful that you have such a different, you don't have the normal educator.
Yeah, no, this is, so they, all the time I tell myself in front of the faculty, you're the academics, right? That's your job. I don't have the PhD, I'm not getting it, but I'm the CEO. We have a school of business that teaches our undergrads and our graduates an MBA that when you go out and become an entrepreneur or you start a business, it has to be profitable. So I drive profits. It's called stewardship. It's fiduciary. We're not going to get government money. And Robbie, between me and you, we don't want government money. We want to grow in our own sustainability to be who we are called to be without compromise as a Christ-centered conservative university. So my job is to drive net operating income, to grow the university, to pay people well, and to make sure we do not grow.
Big Stu would be proud. For those who know what I'm talking about, they would know that, man, his heart's going through that because he understood and he taught that ministry requires plumbing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yep.
And
if not, Robbie, then what we do is we suffer the students. We jack up tuition year after year after year to make a budget. And then they graduate with significant debt year after year after year. That is not ethical, nor moral, nor righteous. Our job as operators of the organization, Colorado Christian University, is to be sustainable, to be fiduciary, and to be stewards of what God has given, and to educate those students so we're not putting the burden on their back.
And do you realize that what you just described actually was the way Henry Ford built Ford Motor Company? Right? I mean, he really did. He wanted to build a car that was affordable, right? And by doing that for his own employees, right? He put everybody in the country, especially the people in Dearborn, they were all going to work, right? And doing that kind of stuff. And so what a concept to create education like that would make that affordable for the students that really could go, then launch into that ministry rather than launch into something to do in the world so they can pay for their education.
So it's like anything else. I go into a car dealership, I want affordable excellence. I want it to perform. I want it to be excellent. I want it to be well built. That's what we're doing at CCU with Christ-centered higher education. I don't want to charge. When you go build $1,000, I don't want to kill for the items. We're not out to be the items. We're not out to be the highest to be great and the best, and I want our students prepared. So that's, if we talk to your audience, and I know grandparents and parents listen, and you have your kids coming up and your grandkids coming up, I encourage you, give us a peek. It's really easy, ccu.edu. And check us out.
I love that. I really do. My father would be proud of that. Colorado Christian University. I think it's so awesome. I didn't honestly know anything about it, but now I was so excited to know about it. And I hope you'll check them out. I bet you probably have a website.
We do. ccu.edu. And tell you what, Dr. Anderson and our undergrad and Dr. Black will help out with those if you want to think about the graduate or undergraduate degrees online. We got 12,000 students online, nearly 1,500 on campus, and with dual credit. You got a high school student right now. If you don't want them to pay for 4 years of education, they can enroll at the CCU Academy, get some dual credit done, and go in free. Colorado Christian University, I guarantee it, we stand by our middle name. Uncompromised. So,
that's so awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. It's great to be with you.
Same here. That was very fun. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm with you on the Corvette.
Yes. Well, I didn't know it was just aimed at you.
That's all right. That's okay. Probably nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Tell Stu I said hi.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
All right.
Keep up the great
Thank you.
work.
Blessings. Thanks, man.
Yes, good to redo.
I don't have internet. I'm using my phone.
I mean, why don't I tested the internet yesterday and it worked?
I don't know. I tried it in here. I tried it in here. But I got it working through my hotspot right now.
Okay, but this is, we have a hotspot here too, and this is wired internet. If it's not working, they need to come and make it work. I need to find the tech people, I guess.
Nice to meet you. I'm Nader from Egypt.
Oh, Matter, nice to meet you.
Marma from Egypt.
Also, wonderful. Let me get a second to say this one.
I'll have to find the tech people up this whole GPS
Are you both going to be on or just Nader?
Actually, we are like after each other, but
We're scheduled, I think, for 2.
Oh, one to after that.
Do I wear this?
Yes, you have to wear that. But hopefully you can hear me better. Very good. I'm going to save this one. We'll go on to get you going. And so if you got a card, is your last name pronounced Maurice?
Yes. It's not the same last name on the card, but yeah, it's Maurice.
Would you prefer Sama?
No, Maurice makes sense.
Maurice. All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
Let's do something I haven't done yet. We need to pray. Can we do that? Lord, thank you for Nader. Thank you for the way you're working in his life, the way you're working in this radio station. I just pray that you be honored by all that went on today and all these interviews, that people would hear it and want to go deeper into you, deeper into your word, that you be the hero of the story and all these stories. In Jesus' name I pray. All right. And we're on. We're also on Facebook and YouTube and all that other. So, the National Religious Broadcasters Convention is an opportunity that we get to share here on Facebook. We get to share with the audience every year. And it's on the convention floor where we are right now is where, God is doing amazing things all over the world. And so we were in Colorado a minute ago. We're going to take a little jet flight over to Egypt. Apparently. So we got, is it Nader? Am I saying it right?
Yes, Nader.
Nader, and it's Maurice. And so Nader, tell us about your ministry.
Well, we're a local church in Cairo, Egypt. Downtown Cairo, to be specific. You've heard of Tahrir Square, where the Arab Spring erupted in the middle of Egypt. This is exactly where our church is located.
So you literally are a church. So what brings a church to the NRB?
Well, the Lord has been using our church in a very unique way in the past 20 years. It has become not just a local church that's shepherding the local flock, but it has been like a ministry center for the whole Arab-speaking world. Our media ministry reaches more than 10 million people a week, Arab speakers around the world. We broadcast our services, we do discipleship programs, evangelistic outreaches through social media, through satellite TV, and we're here to learn and partner with others.
And your English is impeccable. So is it your first language?
No, Arabic is my first language, born and raised in Egypt. I just watched a lot of Disney cartoons there.
Me too. That is absolutely beautiful. So I'm sitting there just thinking, in my city of Winston-Salem, I don't know if you knew, there's a church there. It's called Friendly Arabic Church. And it just got recently changed to something Bible Fellowship Church. But they were a group not unlike you guys. That literally they came to America from Lebanon, which they must have, and got saved. and they started putting on services in Arabic, right? And they drew people, all kinds of different people from our area started coming to the church, and it's grown and grown and grown and grown because they do a service in English, and God has just used that to grow the kingdom in amazing ways. In fact, I'm doing a live event with them April 26th.
It's amazing how Arab speakers are ready for the gospel. And
That's
this
the
is a
point.
surprise to so many people. They're so hungry and they're so desperate to know Jesus. And they don't know it. But God has been doing something very, very special with the Muslims and the Arab speakers around the world, especially in the last 10 years.
So how cool that your church would obviously use their resources to come here in hopes of, what were you hoping would happen at the end?
Well, first year it's like an expo of all the new ways and the new tools and the new programs and the organizations. So we're hoping that we'll learn, but we don't want to be left out. We want to learn from our big sister church here in the U.S. and all the organizations. And also because in Egypt and in the Middle East, the harvest is great, the need is great, and the reach, God has given us grace in the eyes of the locals, but there's a lot of scarcity of resources, technological resources, financial resources. So we're also here hoping that we will find partners that are willing to support us and partner with us in doing our ministry.
That is so cool. I just think that's so awesome. And so you actually live in Egypt.
Yep. My house is a pyramid and my car is a camel.
At your church? Tell me about your church. I mean, obviously, you have this unbelievable broadcast reaching Arabic-speaking people all over the world. But it's like if I was just to come to your church, what is that? Are you the pastor?
I'm one of the 4 lead pastors of the church. We're in transition. Our senior pastor handed over the leadership to a group of 4 right now, the second generation. And we're in this funny phase of transition.
I understand that one more than you know. And so
walking into our church. Walking into our church includes being in Tahrir Square, parking a car somewhere, or...
And for those of us who don't have a clue what Tahrir Square is.
Tahrir Square, center of Cairo. This is where the revolution happened.
Okay.
This is where the other revolution happened 50 years earlier. It's really the beating heart of Cairo. You can, it's the Manhattan of Egypt. You can say that.
Oh yeah, I get it.
And
so it's kind of like if you go to Madrid, they have that square right there.
Exactly.
If you go to New York, you Times Square, or
like
every city's got
when there's
that.
a new president, people gather in the square. When there's a big problem, people go to the square. When Egypt was suffering, we went and we prayed in the square. 10,000 people with candles.
And you were there?
I was there 10 years ago. Walking into church now, you'll find hopefully one of our 11 services. You'll bump into greeters that will welcome
11 services.
Yep. Welcome you regardless of your color, background. We don't ask people where they come from. We don't ask them for their ID because in our nation, people, their religion is on their ID. We say everybody's welcome. We're all children of God and we're all loved by Him. And we welcome people. We usher them into a worship service full of praise and worship. We don't do 15 minutes of worship like you guys. We do 45 minutes of praise and worship. A lot of singing, a lot of praying, a lot of intercession.
And is that in mostly air?
Fully in air. But you'll find someone with earphones for you for translation. When you
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have a translation booth in all our services. And then we'll preach the gospel, we'll preach the Bible. It's very conservative biblically, but we'll make sure we have a clear gospel message in every sermon. Because we believe that God will leave the 99 sheep and we'll look for the one lost. Sometimes our senior pastor would say, if all the people here are believers and then a Muslim young man walks into church because he wants to go use the bathroom, this is your 5-second window to proclaim the love of Jesus and His salvation on the cross. And we see people in tens and in hundreds. We do baptisms every week for people that came to know Jesus as Lord and Savior just because they either heard us on the radio, saw us on TV, saw us on Facebook, YouTube, or they just walked in this nice building in Kathleen Square. And it's not just that. Our ministry is not just within our walls. We reach out beyond our walls. We serve in every single Arab nation. We have missionaries in all those nations. We go to the poor in their villages and we do compassion and relief projects. We do a network for youth leaders from all around the Middle East to train them in youth ministry. Because in our church, youth group is the largest service. We have 2,500 people in our youth ministry.
That's amazing.
So our youth service is actually our largest service.
That's an amazing thing. So, are you guys in any way connected with Michael Youssef?
Yes, of course. What
Because for our network, here is Michael Youssef.
of course.
So then when I say Michael Youssef, for all we know,
No, we don't just know Michael. So Pastor Michael was preaching at our church last month.
oh wow.
His nephew is one of our elders, and the Malakot channel, the satellite, they broadcast our youth service. This is where you would see me once a month, basically.
Really?
And Dr. Michael and his ministry, whether the media ministry or his church, have been supporters and partners with us for a long time. He was a very, very good friend of our senior pastor who passed away in the 90s.
Isn't that cool? I know for a lot of you watching or listening, you will in the future listen. You've known Michael Youssef for years. You've heard his amazing. And how small a world is it? Right? And here he's got a good friend right there in Cairo, right on the square. I never heard of it. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. I know Robbie's just saying, it's okay. That's just a beautiful thing. And that God is doing that. He's connecting us all. And I like what you said. Your sister church. I don't know that we're the big sister. Sometimes we're, a bully sister.
Not to us.
But however it works, we really are. It's kind of neat. And I never see Sister Mason. God makes these connections, and we get a chance to see what He's doing. And clearly, just to get a feel for this, like when you have these baptisms every week, how many?
Well, it varies. The regular ones that we do, we're talking about maybe 10 to 12 people.
Wow. Times 52. That's another 500 and some odd souls that are out there changing generations, right?
And even more come to the Lord, but choose to get baptized privately or abroad in fear for their own security. Some people will come to know the Lord, but their family won't be ready to hear the news. Some people
yeah.
Some people live as insiders. But yeah, they're in the millions, and Jesus is just loving them as much as He loves all other people in the world. If not a little bit more, in my view.
What an honor it is to have a chance to talk to you and see what God's doing with you guys. And God bless you. And so how would you want people to connect with you guys?
Well, thank you. Our ultimate goal is to connect with people here. We want the church around the world to know about us, and we want to know that we're a part of a bigger family with one Father. You can check our website, kdec.net. You can email us at partners@kdec.net. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to share our stories. We would love for you guys to pray for us and support our ministry to reach out to the Arab-speaking world.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.
I learned so much. I won't remember the name of the square, but I'll know about it.
Thank you. Thank you. You're really nice. You bring joy to the conversation.
God does that, yes. It's fun. So, let me save this one before this. ADEC. Yeah. I've loved Michael Youssef. Oh, what a gift.
You know he's Egyptian, right?
Yes.
Can we go for a picture together?
Of course.
Ready, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know that.
Ayun.
Switch to this if you want. Actually, that headphone works better than the other one.
Alam mo na, Maria. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And you have a card as well. Also with KDEC.
Real quick before you go. Remember, I'm supposed to go to that awards thing now, but from 11 to 4:45. How should I handle this? Should I leave this with you? Should I have one of them
Leave
do
it
it?
with Pastor Carson, if you see.
He had to go to something. You have Mark to do. Mark said
Yeah,
he
Mark's
would.
good.
Okay. And then I'll be back at 1. Okay? Are you doing good? You're fine with everything? You're good. Okay, quick.
Marian?
My real name is Marihan, but you can call me
Put this on
Mari.
here.
Yeah. My real name is Marihan.
Oh, I love the way you say that. Marihan?
Yes, Marihan.
Mari?
My last name is Barbara.
I like your name is really spectacular. Did you know that? Because Marihan is very biblical in its own way, and Malik means king in Hebrew. I guess you do that.
And my husband, I think it's a Turkish name.
Is it? Do you live in Egypt as well?
Yes, I'm Egyptian. Sorry.
How long have you been going to KDEC?
It is since I was born. It is my church.
Oh, it is your church.
Yeah, but I work before I was living with the Bible before I worked for the church.
Do you live in Cairo now? Well, here we go. Are you ready? Well, I've never ceased to be amazed at what God is doing at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention here in 2025. I'm learning about us. I always do. I hope you're learning with me, those of you who've been watching for a while. We are on the floor, the convention floor of the National Religious Broadcasters Convention 2025. And I'm finding out about KDEC, which is an amazing church in Cairo. Apparently, they broadcast around the world. And we were talking to Nader a little bit. Now we have Mary Hun, Alec. And so, Mary Hun, tell us about your role with KDEC.
I work at the KDEC as a partnership. So, I reach out to partners. And I do now NRB new partners
and so how neat, what opportunity, partnerships,
any opportunity of partnerships, we consider the partner and the partner themselves. So either you pay for us, this is a partnership. Either you have a heart for the mission and you want it to progress the mission. Either you can donate, this is another partnership. So there are many ways.
Yeah. It's like the body of Christ, right? There's feet, there's hands, and there's arms, and there's legs. And partnerships is certainly how you do it. And for those who didn't hear the interview with Nader, that man, this church, you're reaching how many people with your
Over there on
the podcast is reaching now millions of people. Since the COVID lockdown has a significant impact on the Middle East because we were streaming all the church services and even from home. So all the people were not going to churches around the Middle East. They were watching and they kept watching it. And now we have like online discipleship groups as well for those people, and even for people from non-Christian background who came to Christ online and they entered the discipleship group and they walked the journey till they have died. So it's a long journey.
No, it's a beautiful thing, right? There's going to be on that discipleship. All of us.
Yeah.
All of us should.
Yes.
And so, what does online discipleship look like at KDEC?
At KDEC, we have like a social media platform and a social media ministry. not just streaming the church services, but also like they are doing posts and they walk the journey with the audience and they are like producing new series and programs for each like persona and
And you
then
say persona.
persona.
Yeah, so different programs like different Bible studies or different.
Yeah, there is a programs for the Christian people and there is a programs for Muslim people.
Really?
Yeah, and we have now even from Muslim background people working with us in the church, and they are doing the job. They are doing this curriculum, and they are writing the content to reach out to their friends, their Muslim friends.
So how cool. And here is a program specifically for people that Arabic and Muslims, practicing Muslim.
Yes, we are speaking their language. That's why it's easier for them. So when we are Christians and we can speak our own language, and the Muslims will not understand them. They have their own language as well. So the people who came to faith from Muslim background, they are now serving the Christ through this ministry with us. And even we have a discipleship program for non-Christian people. So and they made it actually. They created this program, so they know how to speak to their language. They know how they understand Christianity from different perspective. They know how like
So it's
teach
say
them.
like Second Corinthians chapter 1 coming to life. He was comforting others the way they were comforted. In other words, they were brought up in this country.
Yes.
They were brought up to know what it would like to be like facing unbelievable persecution if you make this particular decision. And they know all those things.
Yes.
And now they're creating a curriculum for people that are like themselves. When you think about what your guys are, what KDC is doing, right? You guys have those resources.
Yes.
But now we need resources, a different kind of resources in order to connect and obviously reach more financial resources, more prayer resources, more other technological things. And obviously, so from a technology standpoint, what are you hoping to find in a partnership over here?
I hope to find some people who are more experienced in the media because we are experienced in the content, but we are not really experienced like the West in the media production and the media tools and everything like that. Other thing is the financial resources is a big challenge for us because we are living in a poor country, you know, so we don't have
So,
the
okay, now
enough
just stop there for a second. Because I don't think that's common knowledge in America.
Ah.
Egypt is not a, Egypt's a poor country.
support country.
No, you said it was a poor country. Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's not like a good economic country because like we have this year the electricity went up from 16 to pounds to 50. So everything is
Inflation, right?
yes,
Crazy.
the inflation is hitting us badly, and this actually had also our conditions and even the competition comment. So it's not easy. And we have a lot of good people as well in the country who are feeding food, who are not just streaming, who are not just posting on the media, but they are feeding the poor, who are reaching out to the unreached people in the poor area that they don't have internet. So we are doing some ministries in the Middle East and in many more cities. So we cannot do all of this alone without any help from other partners.
Oh, it's beautiful that God has you in such a place at such a time because there is poverty spiritually, there is poverty financially,
Yes.
there is poverty emotionally.
Yes.
All those things and all God has blessed us to be a blessing.
Yes.
How did that work?
Exactly.
So it's kind of that God's given your leadership a vision to invest in this people. And so with our audience, KDEC online, or what, how would you have them respond to your message? What would you like to have them reach out?
We want to connect with many people. So if anyone would like to join our vision, would like to reach out to us, connect with us, ask more questions, right? They can reach out on the website www.literacy.net. Even there is a donation page if they want to donate, or they can just send an email to partners@literacy.net. So, and we will reply and respond, and we can take it from there. We can meet, we can send emails, we can do some meetings, we can do everything.
Right. So it sounds to me like however you want to be involved, if you're listening right now or you're watching this on YouTube or whatever, if you want to be involved, it's KDEC. So if you're watching this, you can see the card right here. It's a beautiful logo. And what is KDE? Now I've heard them talking about it for 20 minutes. What is that KDEC stand for?
It's Pastor Dubara Evangelical Church.
That first word is?
Pastor Dubara. Pastor Dubara is the area.
Okay.
Evangelical Church. So it's an area in downtown.
Cairo, where that square is.
Yes.
The name of that square?
Tahrir Square.
There you go. She can say that really cool. I can't say it like that. That's an amazing thing, and I am so grateful for what you guys are doing. God bless you, and keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this meeting.
Me too. That was wonderful. Absolutely good. You did great work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You helped me a lot, actually.
What did they say?
They're sending a tech down here, but I'm going to have to test it on my computer and make sure it's not us. Oh my gosh, I left it. I think I have it with me.
I was about to ask. Look at that.
I did that once. I was from railway station.
This is the lady. Brought this down here to try to.
That's David Johnson. Look at here. So, hello, David.
Hey, Robbie. Hey, buddy. I want to interrupt you. Say hi.
You found it. Who is next?
Mr. Joe Haddad, and they wanted you to do both of these gentlemen if you could.
I can't. At the same time. Yeah, I'm not using that at all right now, so feel free to.
Well, I didn't want to.
Oh, yeah, awesome. I didn't do it. So last couple of years,
we got a couple of little technical difficulties, but if you want to put those on, and then your partner's going to be
They're not connected. Their inbound line to us is not working. So I called the tech people to see if they were going to take a look and send somebody down.
Okay.
I paid $600.
I know, it's frustrating. Oh, I love you guys. I get to talk to. I am wonderful. It's Magen David. Yeah, you say it way better. We're just used to Magen David wine. And the dumb part is the big part, right? So I have talked to Yohanan many times. Yohanan, I can't get these names, but I'll work.
Jonathan.
Oh, Yoni and Assad.
Or Joe.
Yoni and Joe. All right. I love. I really enjoyed this. It's probably my fifth year with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
We will get going.
Maybe a
What you need to do?
So have fun. We're here at the NRB 2025, and since I can never say it right, I'm not going to attempt to. It's beautiful the way they say it. And these gentlemen that are here with us right now are with what I would call the Israeli Red Cross. However, they call it. There you go. And I love that a dome on the end of it because that if you were to sit where I'm sitting, here's the Star of David. It's red. Okay? Ours is a cross. They have a beautiful red Star of David because you guys are saving lives and you're making a huge impact. And it's been a tough couple of years. And so I know our listeners are wanting an update. You guys lost a bunch of ambulances. You lost a lot during this war. Can you give us an update, Yanni, of kind of what's going on?
Well, we definitely, first and foremost, lose the team members.
Oh, wow.
That were killed either on the 37th while reaching out and treating patients, and they were shot and killed by the Hamas terrorists. And others that were put upon army service and were killed during the active service in Iran. That's 2017.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we are a voluntary-based organization. 33,000 Israelis who hold faith who are part of the organization on a voluntary basis. So it's been a challenging time for all of us. The state of Israel and for us as member of the organization from the beginning of the year.
Yes, and we also have Joe with us. And Joe, from your perspective, the last couple of years.
Well, as David said, we only came to volunteer for the sake of devastating community. It was a tense year and a half, being on call all the time. I came especially from Haifa, North Israel, because we were in a very situation. So it was a year and a half devastating time, especially for me and my family, for whole family. I hope that things will be better.
And so what is it right now? What's it like as you transition into a different time? Everybody sees fire. Are you feeling that? What does it feel like?
There is a ceasefire right now, but there is a tense all the time. It's still stressful.
Yeah, I would imagine it is because you don't know. You're dealing with people that rules aren't a big deal to them. Right? They've signed a lot of peace treaties in the past. We've seen close to that. But obviously, you came to the NRB this year with something you wanted to pass on to our listeners, and so from your perspective, what would you like us to be up to?
I think that the main message is thank you. The support that we get from received over the past year from Christian ministries, organizations, is way beyond any expectation and concern. We receive tens of ambulances. Nobody takes it to financial support that we were able to purchase medical equipment and and saying that to the German American Christian supporters of man the so-called believers, leadership in Southeast Asia. It's really amazing. I've been around in this organization for many years.
Yes, I've seen it.
This support is opening the heart, is being aligned, and making sure we know that there are so many people that and basically stand shoulder to shoulder with us when we are reaching out to our patients. This is fantastic. We are grateful.
We are so blessed for what you do. And we're, you guys are the ones that are obviously risking your life and seeing the opportunities to meet these people who really do hurt it. And when I think about having interviewed you guys many times, it always fascinates me that you see this war in a lot different eyes than I think Americans see it or understand it, because they're like, these people will never get along. Why are we getting involved in it? That's a lot of their mindset, right? But you guys see it, from what I understand, more of a God's at work here in those other countries trying to show them He's God. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, of course. This is one of the most special things about the last year in Nashville was here.
Yeah, that's right.
And I said that my shift began as a joke. Christian, Muslim, and Jew got into the house. Actually, this is a situation we are all seeking together to save lives, and we do it the best way we can in this organization. The main thing is to bring health and medical treatment to those who need it as fast as we can. So we are a great example of working together for the way how to work together, how to bring peace to people and to the communities, and to do what we do in the best way we can.
So, Yanni, for there's obviously a lot of folks listening who watch you that aren't familiar. And so, if you could give them like a comparison between the American Red Cross and there you go.
We are a bio-organization, non-governmental. Our duties are, we are the pre-hospital emergency medical system of the state of Israel. We run the National Blood Services. We're an auxiliary arm to the Israeli Defense Forces during time of security escalations facing them. And we are the Israeli Red Cross Society. So we do also part and work within the global society, whether it's in training or also in providing assistance out of Israel. By highly trained in them. So that's who we are, and we are an organization based on 90% of the human resources of the economic volunteers, and are coming from the entire social spectrum of the Israeli society. Because it's not an irony, it's a duty we treat our neighbors. So we have to be with highly trained team members from any given community, whether it is Jews, secular or Orthodox, whether it's Muslim, Christian, Jews. This is the inner drive of organization, which highly trained team members all over the country.
And that's a huge part, as I recall, of the organization is you guys are the best trainers in these kind of situations of anybody in the world, and your experience in this has brought a wealth to the world of people in this country.
Yeah, we share knowledge, and unfortunately we were exposed to horrible territories. And needless to say, the recent war that has been going on and so forth, and we had to build up capacities and use our knowledge and experience to do better. And we try and learn all the time from a past experience that immediately after the event happened in order to do better next time. And we are willing to share our experience and knowledge with others all over the world, including here in the US.
And so if somebody's listening and they want to give, pray for those kind of things, how can they reach out and find out more about it?
So the easiest way is to approach American Friends of From NRB. They are our representatives here in the US. And the code is Saving Lives in Israel.
Saving Lives in Israel.org. Saving Lives in Israel.org. Right, go there. I've interviewed them, said it's just an amazing thing that God is doing with this team in so many different ways, bringing peace in a different way to the whole world. So thank you, guys. We appreciate you so much. As always, it's such an honor. I got to say.
For us also.
Thank you for bearing up with us.
No, of course. God bless you guys.
All the best.
Have a nice day.
Connectivity problems. This gentleman was asking about if we're having problems with the internet.
So I tested the line. Are you able to plug it straight into the computer you need it to? Howdy again.
Is that where it ought to be?
It should do. And he said, you go back and you need to go turn off your Wi-Fi. Exactly like it was.
I'll let you. You're better than me.
And he says,
well, it's streaming now. Right now, it wouldn't stream if we didn't have
that being said, I'm going to go to think about these lines. So it's only meant for one device. So I noticed it was plugged into any switch there. So we started trying to connect other devices and it was shut down. So I
We didn't. It just did. It must have shut it off somehow. But thank you.
Okay.
See you. Gotta go. All right.
Let me set you up on good.
Well, let me ask you one other question then. If later today we want to put it into this device, do I have to do something different? Because we're going to broadcast live. Right now I'm doing this live. But then later on I'm going to be on the network.
You know, Robbie, they need to be on both.
Many moves.
There you go. If you just swap that into there,
like many moves.
Right?
Oh, look who's here.
Hello, Robbie.
I saw you earlier today and I tried to scream, but you didn't see me.
Brother, I was so excited when I told Benita, I'm like, you make sure we talk to Robbie.
You did good.
Hey, I brought you presents today.
All right. Let me save what I got here before.
Yeah, I'm just setting up. You just.
Oh man, look.
I'm always excited to see you. That's a ministry that we support, like AIDS orphans, all that kind of stuff. So when we do shows, we literally tie to them off of our merchandise. Yeah, that's kind of how we help fund some stuff. That's for you.
Rocking for Jesus.
Well, yeah, right. And I was going to talk, and I wanted to talk to you today about whatever you want to, but I didn't want to talk to you about this, so I brought you a present. There you go. Yeah, you know where that's going, Robbie Gilmore.
It's iodized.
Huh? It is iodized, so we got to keep it clean. Just
Yes.
Yes, indeed. How have you been?
I am awesome. I am blessed to have you.
I'll jump. Yeah. I jump in often and see what you're doing, and I'm like, phenomenal, man. I still make sure I follow you because you always have stuff. Deep stuff. Yeah.
Yes, you're there live.
Okay, I need a little bit more of you.
You need more you, a little more me. So
A little bit more of you.
that must be. Is that getting you more me?
There you go.
That's not going to do it. That should be. Huh. Check. And they are hearing me now.
It's enough.
It's enough.
You cut through the noise.
I am.
There you
Thank
are.
God.
Well, that's my
Yeah.
You should go. So life's been good.
Oh, it like it's God. He shows up tonight.
Just doing the thing.
Breaking up our soil a lot. Making sure we got plenty of fertilizer.
Right? A lot of it. You know, just amazed. Fine. Just we're giving
Exciting.
It is.
All right, so for those of you who are listening, watching, etc., we are always excited here at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. We have one friend. I don't know how many years we've done this together, but Benedict Chara and just a rock star.
Yeah, well, let's not go there.
From my standpoint, Jesus is listing his rock stars that are currently out there rocking.
I'll receive that.
And in fact, I have a bracelet here, rocking for, it says right here,
Yeah.
rocking for Jesus.
That's exactly. Well, heaven's not war. I mean, the last I read in my book, and so I'm like, spiritually, we should be a little energetic because if we're not, then we don't like, what do I want to be like that? So we're delighted. We're supposed to be delighted.
Now, one of the favorite things about Benny has always been his connection to the Father. It's so critical for a fatherless culture in so many different ways. They're walking around with an orphan spirit.
That's right.
And now God got a hold of Benny on that whole issue.
A long time. You know, and as a refresher, maybe for some discussion, if you are not tuned in to hear the Robbie Gibson breaking, shame on you, so I want to say for the record. Always, every time we talk, we need that today, and once you have Jesus literally in your soul, you can't help it, right? I mean, even a rock's a problem. So that's what we're doing. We're just doing our part. And so, like, way back in 1995, I mean, I had a secular rock band years and years ago. He had hair and saw things I never see. I can say that. Knew what it meant. I was in church every single Sunday. Like,
I never heard that.
yeah, kind of got like, and when I was an acolyte, I wore robes and well, the whole thing and everything. And in church every Sunday, and I would die one day. I will not be in heaven because I know who Jesus is. Man. So
yeah, and there's no explaining to somebody who does not know what you just said.
But people, but people who are maybe on that struggle and they hear what we're talking about, they know exactly what I'm saying. Because I knew what it is when that realization hit, and so so yeah, 1995, say, my life changed. Some people. In that transition, why mine was an immediate sandbag over the head that day. Everything was changed. So it's, and that's I'm so humbled. His love, His grace.
So it's interesting. God's grace is coming after Benny in 1985. He was off to happen in 1997, and clearly, and then all of a sudden, you think, well, I'm doing good.
You think so? You think so?
And you are because you're fixed to take a long journey into the valley of humiliation, where the soil is rich.
That's right. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because once I got saved, I was like, this, I have just entered easy street. You know how the streets are golden?
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
I've just entered easy. I'm saved. God's got me, blah, 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 blah. And I did not realize that once you're saved, God took marks in his wrist, his feet, and his side.
Yeah.
Once we're saved, when we acknowledge that, we take a mark on our back. You know what it looks like? A bullseye. And so every day, Satan sees me wake up. He's like, what can I throw at that target today? It's going to sidetrack me from what he thinks. See, and there's the devil's now. What can I sidetrack Betty with? What he thinks. He doesn't realize that you cannot talk to someone about what they think and say no. So I know not who I am, I know whose I am. So when I'm writing music, I am not that intelligent to come up with some of the lyrics that is strictly the Holy Ghost guiding that. And when you realize that, there's a freedom in it. There's a freedom that everybody should get.
Yeah, let's talk about that. My favorite songs. It's the creative process. You may not know this. That you're made in God's image, and one of his favorite things to do is create.
Yep.
He's been doing it since day one.
I mean, since creation. It's not rocket science.
But so I love the creative process, and we begin to create whatever that may be in your world, that God gave you special gifts and talents, whatever, to create certain things that other people can't, because they don't have your vision. I can't see God the way you did. I certainly don't see God the way Benny sees him. Right? And the same thing. Okay? Right. So I often get a chance to interview amazing creative people that have walked into their identity, and God has come alongside them. So, have you ever seen the movie Bagger Vance? Yeah, it's not about golf. It's about the Holy Spirit. And there's this scene where Will Smith tells our hero, I don't know the name of the movie, but nonetheless, he tells him it's time for you to see the field. He's got this poor guy. He's been out there hitting balls all over the place, making a mess of this golf game that he's supposed to, because he's got all kinds of baggage. And he says it's time for you to see the field, and he shows this other golfer taking these practice swings. And he starts to say, you see him, we see how he's focused. And he showed how he blocked out all the world so that he could focus on what it was, because he was going to create a golf swing that was going to just hit that ball down. Right. And so as he did that, he goes, he could choose a lot of different swings. He could choose ducks and all sorts of things. I don't know much about that. But then he says, but the right swing chooses you. And that's his one true authentic swing that only, God gave him at the point in time he was born, and he's the one that's got that, and he's the only one that can swing. So I love that scene in the movie. With that said, thought process. And think about this. Interviewing King of the Country. It's all been work. Right. So tell me about your creative process. And it's we sit there, we're trying to think of what the tune might be, what the lyric might be, and they say this. I didn't like this song. Right one chooses on. And then we begin to, once we know that's it. And now God has given us the honor to begin to flavor that so that we can Share it with the world.
That's so ironic. Because which has just been a blessing. Um, 9 years ago was my traumatic brain injury. So I just recently had a 9-year follow-up brain surgery because we had heard some things. It's time to get checked out. So he does a CT scan. He wants to do a CT scan. So he does a CT scan, and he comes back to us after it's done. My wife and I, and he says, "Your brain." 9 years ago, there's no deterioration or anything like that we're looking for. It's fantastic. And I'm like, and he says, whoever I saw something, I had to go back and you have an intense bright light in your brain. So I just started smiling. And my wife was a little nervous, and he goes, it's not a tumor, it's not a blood clot. This isn't even outside of you. This is in deep in you. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't know what that is. And I said, well, that's what Jesus would look like. I'm just saying to you. So he chuckles. He goes, be it as it may, I want to do an MRI with contrast to see what this is. And I'm like, fine, let's schedule it. So we schedule it. We're meeting him after the MRI. So you have a conglomeration of vessels and stuff, like a knotted up deep in your. There's still a flow, but it's like don't know what it is. It's inoperable. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not affecting you anything. It's just you look and I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Again, because that is a sign to me that not only we're chosen, and I thought about that, and for all of us in our life, when we choose Jesus, because he does give us the opportunity to say no. But he also gives us the opportunity to say say that anything, every single person has some sort of life source. It's truly Jesus Christ and know him as a personal savior. There's a light source in them somewhere.
It's a Hebrew letter U. And it is a light, but it's not created light.
That's right. Just somewhere, right? It's a given. I'm like, we have church people. So all of that. So we were in Kentucky in October. So I know we talked about Yahweh DC, and that's doing very well. The Lorders love that. We're on a 10-day short mini tour through Kentucky in October, and so this music festival, well, they got hurricane down, so we didn't get to. And then we wound up with the music festival the following weekend, and we opened from 7 times down, and Mike Howard was the producer, and that's a great kind of show for music. So we're in this, and we get canceled for the Ignis, and then the guy who found it says, what are you doing tomorrow? About 11. I don't have anything. I got to get my drummer to the airport. He says, would you consider coming to this church? It's a tiny church, 1800s built. And so I'm like, sure. We'll show up. We'll come support the evangelist. He gives a message. He's 40-something, maybe. If he gave this message, I don't care what denomination, if he gave it in every church in America, America would get saved again, turn around and take the world by storm. It would be like heaven. I mean, it was that message. And so he does that. Then we play a song, whatever, and then he tells the whole congregation, and I mean, tiny churches, like 54 people, from 4 to 84. And he says, if we need prayer, come down to the center. And guess how many people got up? 54 people got up. And they're in the whole church. So he goes, Pastor Benny, get you guys, we're praying. And I'm like, hey, boys, let's go. So we're praying over her. And one woman had brain surgery. She had to have a second one. He turns her over to me because of what I did. So we got broke. And so that was the thing. And he finishes praying for the church. And he knows he doesn't and we have a big meeting in prayer. So he's praying over us. He turns it over to the pastor. The pastor's praying over us. And then he stops and goes and says, Lord and I'm like, oh boys, hold on for this, right? And he says, since you walked in to my church, God kept saying salt, 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 salt. Oh, yeah. And that's why you have the salt, right? There's a little gentle reminder. And he says, but the Lord wants you to know what it stands for. S is safety. You're under the safety of Jesus Christ. A is you're anointed. L is you're legitimate because you don't take his name out of your words. You just don't care. You're going to tell people about Jesus. T is his timing. And so I told him after the service, I'm like, Pastor, thank you for the word. Thank you for the name of the new record. And the new record, we're about to go coordinate is the Titans. And it's all about Matthew chapter 5. Sermon on the Mount. God's talking about that, and that's what we're supposed to be.
Unfortunately, we're out of time.
That's quite all right. It happens every time.
It does. Where can people find you?
Rockin', ROCKIN 4, number 4, Jesus.
Rockin'4Jesus.com.
That's right. Thanks.
Well, now we can talk for another week.
Couldn't we? Good. This happens every time. Every time. You run in my favorite beats. It's always.
It is.
Yes, indeed.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you. I need to get a photo with you. Some publicists. Always. Just, there's certain people that God puts in your life that there's I told Benita this. I'm like, Bobby and I, since the very first time, it's just been a connection. And the first time I wouldn't even schedule it. This kind of came by. I'm like, you just got to know when you know he's doing the thing. So let's get a pic. So she's like, oh, you got one. That's fantastic. We get you into the you look official. Here we go. That's great. Make a brother. Make it. Stay in touch. If you ever need something, just hit me out.
Let me introduce you.
right.
Bobby Gilmore.
Max.
Great. It's new.
Fellowship for Performing Arts.
I like that.
That's a great name.
I like it.
I like it too. It's strong.
Thank you.
I like Max.
Hello, Robbie. How are you? Good. Go ahead. I don't want to watch out.
Make it hold.
I can make a very important contact to my wife.
Oh, okay. Brother, good to see you, man. Yes, sir. God bless you. Yes, sir. I'll see you next year, too. God willing. Hopefully. Yeah, Nashville.
You want to get good to see you. Yes, sir. I got you.
Keep in your prayers.
If you have something specific.
Yeah, you got a card, right?
I got a card.
My card?
All right.
In this office.
I'm in Rockland.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, okay. I love that. If you want to put those on,
Sure.
Thank you. God bless you.
Let's drown out everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here you have this amazing voice.
Thank you.
So we'll just get going. It's always amazing, really, how God allows myself that I get to do this job. To be here at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. We've got so many amazing servants and so many amazing ministries that you get a chance to see God's image all over the place. And I have in front of me Max McLean. And of all the ministries, like people that know me well would know that, Robbie, I've been sure hard to put about the Fellowship for Performing Arts. And so I've never heard of the Fellowship for the Performing Arts. Max, what tell us about it?
Yeah, well, we're a not-for-profit New York-based theatrical and film production company that tells stories, good stories from Christian worldview, meant to engage a religiously and intellectually diverse audience. We actually, I believe you're in North Carolina, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we were just last week at the Royal Auditorium in Raleigh. We had full house seeing our theatrical production of C.S. Lewis's The Screwtape Letters. And then we left there and we did the same production of The Screwtape Letters in Florida. Where we had 5 of our students, some faculty, and town folks there. So we're trying to reach into the sort of cultural marketplace with a compelling, provocative telling of Christian gospel.
Yeah, and so it's just do that.
Yep.
And so, like, how when you say the Screwtape Letters, have you got all the characters in the Screwtape Letters, or you have a C.S. Lewis character telling the story?
We have Screwtape. We have.
Oh, you do?
We have a
Oh,
Screwtape.
do you really?
Yeah, the Screwtape is. He's a master universe character. Loves the way he looks. Loves the way he talks. Loves the way he dresses. Smartest guy in the room. Full of pride. And his objective is to seduce an unsuspecting human on Earth into damnation. That's the plot of the story, and we use all of C.S. Lewis's words. We have the rights for C.S. Lewis's estate. We use the words. We've been doing it. The show ran in New York for 9 months. It ran in London for 6 weeks. It's toured all over. Like we're all over the United States. We've done shows at Duke University, at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, in your neck of the woods, of course, in Charlotte, Raleigh.
Actually, the truth ever is to be in a lot of places.
But we're national.
Right. We have stations in Salt Lake City.
And we were just in Salt Lake. Yeah, we just did our other show, C.S. Lewis Further Out, Further In, had a tremendous audience. They love C.S. Lewis out there.
So we have lots of Virginia as well, and Richmond, and Roanoke, and Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And then we have Ohio. We have some stations in Dayton. And just God's blessed us, of course, and then the Holy Press and all that stuff. So, how did the Fellowship for Performing Arts? Did God give you that vision?
Yes, I was an actor, and then I was converted to Christ in my 20s, and I was going to drama school in London, and I would see a lot of great theater in London, and it was mostly classical work, Shakespeare, Shaw, others, and what was embedded in them was Christian worldview, and it was very profound. Now, I didn't have eyes to see and ears to hear prior to coming to Christ, and all of a sudden it was just popping. So I thought, why not use the skills and techniques that we develop in the theater and do it at the high level with thoroughly Christian content.
And so, you being the actor that you clearly are.
Thank you.
And for those of you who are watching on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, you might notice there's sort of a resemblance to
Yeah.
Are you one of the actors in the?
Yeah, well, I'm the producer, but I started as an actor, and I created the role of Screwtape and handed it over to another actor. And I created the role of C.S. Lewis and Further Out, Further In, we had a film that did very, very well. And it's on Amazon called The Most Reluctant Convert, The Untold Story of C.S. Lewis. It's about his conversion from atheism to Christianity.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And so, since you're a big fan of C.S. Lewis,
Yes.
and I clearly am, you're familiar with his connection with George MacDonald?
Yes. In fact, most of his Narnia, I think, was influenced by MacDonald. Most of his apologetics was influenced by G.K. Chesterton.
Right. And so, really cool. So you studied in London.
Yep.
you know, and obviously you picked this up, and God gave you the passion, but then, you know, just putting that together to create this, like, wow, you must have had some background in actually production and that kind of thing.
Well, you hire a lot of great people. You know that you. It all begins with the script. If you have a good script, then it becomes very compelling for people to get involved. So we have a really crackerjack production team that puts on a really magnificent.
And apparently, yeah, you can see that in the video. I mean, in the movie that you guys did. And then you've got shows coming up. So it's FPA. Is there a website? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest one is cslewisonstage.com. cslewisonstage.com. That's probably the easiest one to remember on radio. Yep.
I think I've been to this one.
cslewisonstage.com. So, you know, really, really neat. This opportunity you might have, because it's the kind of thing that you might want to bring that neighbor that's kind of on the fence,
that's
right?
Yeah.
Speak to that.
Well, the interesting thing about Lewis, he read everything from the Greeks to the moderns. He had a steel trap mind that could remember everything he read, and he could translate it into magnificent prose and speech, and he did it all under the headship of Christ. So you really got this sense of a profound intellect, tremendous heart, exposing the gospel in a very compelling way, particularly to literary types, to artistic types, to academic types, intellectual types, because he certainly speaks to the head and the heart.
Yeah, and that's a gigantic issue for so many is to connect the two.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because the heart will ultimately reject what the heart cannot accept. The heart will ultimately reject what the head cannot accept. You know, so it's a pathway. In Lewis's conversion, it was very intellectual until it wasn't. When he realized he had to give in, he had to bend the knee, he had to give his life to Jesus, and he would, because he recognized who was the creator of the universe. Sorry? I was converted in my 20s, and the instrumental cause of my conversion was reading John's Gospel in one sitting. I read it in about 2 hours. Now I tried to read it before, but I didn't have eyes to see and ears to hear. This moment, I was looking at Jesus. I was not looking at the gospel as a series of views and notes. I was looking at Jesus as a hero, and I would like a hero story. And I read John's gospel, and he was so overwhelming that when he was so unjustly crucified, I was weeping, and the resurrection story in the gospel was so overwhelming, emotional, that the Holy Ghost was after me, and he wasn't going to let me go away. He wasn't going to let me get away, and so I had to repent. I had to believe in the Lord Jesus, and you shall be saved. Repent and believe the good news. That was my story.
So how about you listening right now?
I'm sorry?
I'm talking to the listeners.
No.
I just heard that. What a neat way to read the Gospel of John as the hero story. And has that ever touched your heart? So it actually brought you to I can tell you that it changes everything. You can hear what it's meant for Max McLean. You can hear that it led to fellowship, performing arts, and again, it will do the same for you. I thank you so much, Max, for God's touch your life and what you're doing out there. I love the performing arts, and I'm so grateful for God's touch.
Yep.
So
We saw it.
yeah, I just posted on my.
Tell me about the car guy.
So what's funny about it is, that's a radio show I've had for a long time, the Christian Car Guy show. But inside the Christian Car Guy, I wish I had time to share it with you.
Yeah, you got another guy coming.
There's a Christian Car Guy Theater, which is radio theater.
Right.
And God had always put it on my heart to reach kids with something like that. And I did an episode where I just did a bunch of voices. You know, I had that Arthur Exhaust and all these different characters.
Right.
And this amazing New York actress hears it and says, "Robbie, will you write me in the script?" So I wrote her in the script. And she was the president of the Hollywood Actors Guild. And she started getting me all these amazing actors. And the next thing you know, Christian Car Guy Theater, and you know, it, like you said, it was just a script, but God has turned that into a ministry for years now, of being able to do theater on the radio. And my father loved radio theater, so I love theater, and so we share a lot.
Yeah. No, it's Christian Car Guy. Is there a website?
Oh yeah, ChristianCarGuy.com.
Okay, good. I'm going to look it up.
And Christian Car Guy Theater is a podcast.
Okay, blessing. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Max. God bless you.
God bless you.
Keep
Bye-bye.
up the great work.
Thank you.
Are you the next contestant?
I'm the next contestant. How you
JP,
doing?
nice to meet you.
JP, good to see you, Bob. Robbie.
Yes.
All right. Do I get to wear the school hat?
You do. I just got to say this one. If you got
All right, I see you met JP.
I met him. If you got a card or something?
Yeah, I sure do.
Oh, I need this.
Yeah. Oh, take that, please.
Oh, yeah, don't use that. Very good.
All right, Robbie, that's it. Then your lunch break.
All right.
Mine too.
JP. Communio?
Communio.
All right, I got it. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
You're ready. You got a great voice for this.
I did radio in college.
Okay. That's fine.
Sports.
More than amazing how God brings so many different people. And you are both here at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention 2025. You're the first day, and the first morning, I've just been like, wow, I love it. And I have in front of me now JP Dugans. That's right. And he is the CEO of Communio. And so if you're wondering like me, what in the world is Communio? I need some Communio, I'm sure.
Yes, and it's spelled like the word communion without an N at the end, is how I tell people. And we exist to support the local church. Right? Our no couple or individual will ever go to one of our programs. We exist to support the local church to share the gospel through the renewal of healthy relationships spiritually. Okay, so we help the church build up what we call a data-informed, full-circle relationship ministry to help the church evangelize around this felt need of life-changing, life-giving Christian relationship.
Right, healthy relationship is kind of like fundamental to our relationship. I like the Communio. That's a really good name.
That's right, thank you.
Because if you are communioing with Jesus, then hopefully, it's changing you into the image of.
Right. And we should be in communion with one another as well as with Jesus. 100%. And Robbie, our ministry got started with a big pilot project where we lowered the divorce rate across the entire city of Jacksonville by 24%. Put in perspective,
Jacksonville, North Carolina,
Florida. That's right. Exactly. Or Jacksonville, Illinois. We actually are supporting the church there, but we've got Jacksonville, Florida. We had a great.
Jacksonville. Let me just say, from somebody who's been to Jacksonville on many occasions, Like, this is no easy city to change the divorce rate. Now, like, you did what, and how did you change the divorce rate?
To put in perspective, just what you're saying, right, before we got started, Men's Health Magazine ranked it the sixth worst city in America for marriage. The Huffington Post named it one of the 10 cities where marriage goes to die. Okay, it's a really historically tough place. We had hey, look, I grew up down there. We jokingly say if you were somebody, that's where you live. So, but we ended up having a great local partner that we were piloting this. My good friend Richard Albertson and folks from the Life Ministries. We did a big pilot trying to understand. I used to work in the political public policy world, using stuff like targeting, market research, using technology to reach out, contact, engage people. We brought a lot of that stuff, baptized the saints by the blood into the service and ministry in the church. We supported 93 churches across Duval County in an ecumenical project. We moved 58,912 people in 3 years through skills-based Christian relationship.
Communion. You got together how many churches?
We're 93.
93 churches.
We
all in the same page?
They have no. That's a beautiful question. Thank you. We always tell people we always say we want churches to work together alone, and by that I mean the same folks buy into the vision and advance their own mission at the church-to-church level. There was never a big convening. We never did a big rally. Well, that's all rally around.
We're coming
not
around
a chance. We
the
were
Jackson
one-to-one
Convention
talking to churches to open their doors to marriage and relationship ministry. And we had
so that you got all these churches in this county. Believe me, this is a worldly county for those who don't know under Jacksonville, Florida, where you don't even know what time of year it is because there's no seasons there.
Yes.
And so all days run together. This must not have cost these churches a lot of money.
That's correct. Yeah, when we did it, it was a big philanthropic initiative. The reason we were able to get a lot of movement quickly was it was part of a much larger pilot. We raised about $20 million, and we did it as an R&D project. We did experiments, philanthropic.
Somebody must have believed it.
Yeah, a big group of people believed it. Yeah, and we ended up being able, churches, it didn't cost them anything to get started. The programs initially were frequently run by professional staff of great ministries like Local Life.
And so you guys are just walking through. I'm totally
curious. I write about this. I write a whole case study about it in my book, Endgame, the Church's Strategic Move to Save Faith.
Endgame,
you get it.
So you go into this church and you go, hey, you guys got 150 members. What are we going to do with it?
Yeah, so the name of the game is there's an entire area of marriage and relationship education. It's an academic. In the research, there's been they're called meta-analysis of different studies that show that if you consume 8 to 12 hours of skills, education, and practice, it substantially inoculates you from divorce, right? So we knew that research, and we wanted the local church to be a place where folks could get that kind of skills education. Okay, we didn't exclusively, when we got started, it was the whole project originally was not named Communion, it was called the Cultural Freedom Initiative. And when we got started, we included churches, and churches were the biggest partner, but we had a lot of other secular and other local faith-based nonprofits that we worked with. We just found that churches were the most effective. They were sticky. When people come to a church, and I meet Robbie and his wife come to a church, you're more likely to befriend me outside the context of the program. We might invite you over for dinner. We might get together for worship at some point. We'll form a friendship. And while the other organizations that deployed the programming didn't have that. So we did, because of my old life, I was used to using predictive analytics to understand who were swing voters for a certain candidate, super voters for a certain candidate, understanding the science behind that modeling, I had this hypothesis, well, you could take that same modeling and bring it into modeling other behavior. And one of the things that we developed was a model for divorce. So we looked at people that got divorced in the last year. And then we looked at all of their consumer spending habits. And then had data scientists create a model that looked at married people and said, these married people look like people who had recently got divorced. And so then we spent capital on running digital ads and outreach, inviting people who are struggling into those local churches. Well, the churches were themselves opening their doors, inviting their own people. So what we call inside out approach. We're having people inside the church and people outside the local church. And, you know, Robbie, before we got started, we had business leaders on our board. They wanted big into baselining, and they wanted what was already being done before we showed up. The year before we showed up, we only 300 units of consumed skills-based marriage content in the entire county. Okay, so which is 900 over 3 years in, right? So we grew that to 58,912. So it was a huge number. We're able to do that heavily saturating folks between the age of 25 and 40, right? And the modal time when most frequently occurring is when divorce happens. It's the first 5 years of marriage.
How long ago was it?
2016 to 2018. But we realized, Robbie, the country is 330 million people. It's a big place. It'd be too expensive to pay for it everywhere, and just us doing this in every single city became cost prohibitive. But we realized that the fundamentals exist in every church. So every church has the muscles and the manpower, the human capital to build a good Christian evidence-based marriage ministry. Okay, and so over the last 5 years, what we've been doing is perfecting our church service model. So what we do is churches hire us. Okay? We are a nonprofit, but it's heavily subsidized. There's 2 ways they can work with us. It's when a group sponsors us, like we just had the Arizona Mission Network, which is the SBC board, sponsor us. That brings the cost down by 75%. With the normal cost that isn't there, it's $1,500 a month or $18,000 a year, which doesn't cover all the costs. Okay, and with a church as a group partnership, that comes down to $300 a month and $600. They get each church gets 2 what we call Sherpas, I call it church strategists that help you set clear, measurable goals, analyze, understand your people, create a written plan, execute the plan, bring
2
you
hours.
out.
This will not be the last time that we speak with JP. You're a pastor out there, or somebody, you want to know more about this, and you're like, man, hook me up, what do we need to do?
Yeah, go to communio.org. So it's spelled like the word communion without an N at the end. Okay, communio.org. You can do /study. We'll get you a free study that has a lot of the data I've shared here. And then you can also email us questions at communio.org. You can also call me at
I don't know about you, but I am a pastor in a church that's like we got this is unbelievable. Like this is.
We'd love to work and serve your church.
As I heard what you were saying, and I hope other pastors was they're reaching out to the community who are struggling, and they're reaching in through their people, also to the people who are struggling. You're going to church, people that need the church, and you're going to church with people that love one another and are loving their children. So you got generations, right? Generations of people that figure out this beautiful thing. God gives us this. I was just like, wow. What I was doing. I always feel so ignorant. Like, how could I not know anything about this?
We're only a few years old, and so we're trying to become better known. So where is home, Robbie? Remind me.
The Truth Network, which we have icon stations, whatever, is you've heard of Salem Broadcasting, probably. Well, it was founded by Stu Epperson Sr.
Yeah.
And his son is Stu Epperson Jr. We're Salem JV.
Okay. Yeah.
It's great. So we're in Winston-Salem. We're actually all the Eppersons live. And
We're starting to serve churches on the other side of the state in Charlotte.
My church is in beautiful downtown Ramseur, North Carolina, which is outside of Akron, a little bitty church, little bitty town, But I just got to figure out, like, this is too cool not to.
We work with a lot of small churches in small towns.
I have a lot of connections. God has blessed me with connections with a lot of folks, and so maybe there's a way that we can. But I just think the message. Like, man, God really gave us something. And I praise God for it.
I don't want to keep you from lunch. Robbie, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
We will be in touch.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
You'll do interviews, I assume?
Yeah, happy to do it.
I have numerous radio shows. One of them is called King of Pursuits. How does God take your passions? It's a live show on Saturdays, probably one of my most popular shows.
Yeah.
I would love to have you on very soon.
Great.
Like, we'll have an hour.
Oh, that's cool.
To really just flesh this out for our audience. So we're on, and we have stations in Ohio, we have them in South Carolina, we have them in Virginia. We even have them.
Well, it's great in Ohio. We're about to get a big statewide initiative. So we've got the Southern Baptist Convention, Church of God, Church of the Nazarene. There's one other major denomination. All their leadership is bought in now.
This is a no-brainer.
So pretty cool. Yeah. God bless you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let me introduce you.